Well, the first thing I want to say before I say anything else is Ace Frehley, rest in peace, brother. Godspeed. Okay.
Absolutely.
We're all going to miss you. And all right. So I want to welcome everyone to the Four Horsemen YouTube channel, where tonight we're going to do a tribute to the one and only Ace Frehley, the Spaceman. And, the founding member of the band Kiss. And what I want to say, okay, Ace Frehley, let's get into this. The tribute. He was born April 27th, 1951, and he passed away yesterday, October 16th, 2025. An American musician, was the original lead guitarist and occasional lead vocalist and founding member of the rock band Kiss. He invented the persona of the Spaceman, also known as Space Ace, and originally played, excuse me, getting kind of choked up here, folks. Originally played with the group from its inception in 1973 until his departure in 1982, before later rejoining. Ace died at the age of 74 due to injuries suffered from a fall at home. He had already canceled his remaining 2025 touring dates due to unspecified medical related injuries related to the fall. Okay, so yesterday it was reported he had suffered some brain bleeding and was on life support. Okay, and then he passed away yesterday. So really a heartbreaking situation. And I'm going to go back to the panel, and then I'm going to read something from the family. Okay. So yeah, guys, I just want to say that 3 years ago, I went to an Alice Cooper concert right up here at Vina Robles, man. It was like a 10 miles from home, small venue. I love going there. I've seen all kinds of, seen, Robert Plant. I've seen Jason Bonham and so many others up there. Tickets aren't expensive, but it's fantastic. So I went to Alice Cooper concert, and who was opening for him? Ace Frehley. And I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed. It was the first time I got to see Ace. Okay, I really enjoyed his performance. He's funny. He can be comical up there. But man, what a guitar player! He is an amazing guitar player, and he does funny things up there too. He's playing his Les Paul and he's really jamming on it, and all of a sudden smoke starts billowing out of it because he's just smoking so hard on the neck, right? So the guitar's smoking, and that's one of the little tricks he's done over the
Well,
years
one of
for a long
those,
time.
one of the humbuckers on his Les Paul, which he usually played, uh, was actually a dummy humbucker. He swapped guitars in and out. Matter of fact, I just saw a recent interview where he said, "I've cut down on my guitar collection. I'm down to about 150." But yeah, but the thing is he had it all hollowed out, and it's got a facade on it that makes it look like it's an active pickup. He flips a switch, and he goes on fire. Anybody want to see a picture of that? Go to Wikipedia for Ace Frehley, and that's the shot they have on the Wikipedia
Yeah,
page.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'll be the first person to admit I was a little slow to the Kiss dance. Okay. I'll never
Hmm.
forget driving back to Henderson, Nevada, where I grew up, and my younger brother and my parents were sitting in the living room, and they were watching a live Kiss performance on TV. And I couldn't believe it. My parents were having so much fun. Hey, Roy, sit down, watch this. This is great. And these guys are, I mean, they're crazy looking, but they're just so much fun, and they're really talented. So the whole family sat down and watched the Kiss concert on TV. And prior to that, I hadn't been, much of a fan. There's many things have influenced that. I was a little older than a lot of the Kiss fans at the time, but I have nothing but respect for the Kiss army. I mean, you talk about a rabid bunch, man. They love their Kiss, and I know a whole bunch of them. Okay, so in addition to that, my son-in-law, is one of his best friends, is, I don't know, drummer for 24, 25 years for Kiss now, Eric Singer. And I've been around Eric Singer 7 or 8 times. We hooked up with him in London when Kiss was on their End of the World tour. Me and my son-in-law hooked up with him and did a little tour around London with Eric. And I've been at gatherings with him, and I've been at a bunch of performances he's done at a winery that my son-in-law used to set concerts up at, which were attended by a lot of amazing people. But anyway, so got started getting closer and closer to Kiss. I have a number of Kiss albums here, many of which Ace played on. They're the early albums. Some say the best, like Alive 2 and Destroyer, some others. But anyway, so I've got some Kiss albums. I'm going to give more. I've got a couple of compilations like Alive 2 and the best of Kiss World. So anyway, I've had some fun listening to Kiss. I really enjoyed, seeing Ace Frehley perform live. I mean, it was really a good show. Far exceeds many of the shows I've seen before. And he had a young group of guys. They didn't look like, he grabbed a bunch of prominent names. He put his own band together, and they were all good. They were all working their tails off, doing a good job. So anyway, Chris, have you ever seen Kiss or any of the members in concert?
No, I had a chance to see Gene Simmons at the casino here, but I never ended up going.
Oh, okay.
I heard the show was okay with just his band, but didn't really hurt my feelings not to go either. So, I mean,
it's funny. Gloria says, "I only know one Kiss song." My dear friend Gloria, "I was made for loving you, baby." 10 minutes ago, I walked out to plug my cord into my router, and I was singing that song. And my wife looked at me like, "What's this?"
Well, Detroit Rock City is almost like a song about my neighbors. I mean, Detroit and Windsor are almost like sister cities. So yeah. I mean, Detroit Rock City, want to rock and roll all night. I like Strutter. Cold Gin is probably one of my favorites of theirs.
Yeah.
But it's just a handful of songs that I really.
Oh yeah.
Just the ones on the radio that are too overly paid.
Because I was a little late to the dance with Kiss, the very first album I bought was Kiss World, the best of Kiss. And there's a lot of tracks on here that I actually really enjoyed. Crazy Crazy Nights, Rock and Roll All Night, I Was Made for Loving You, God Gave Rock and Roll to You, Detroit City, Beth, Lick It Up. I've got my shrink wrap here in the way with my hype sticker on, they call it. Really, it's just a price tag, Heaven on Fire, Tears Are Falling, Hard Luck Woman. I like that song. I think that's a good song. Psycho Circus, Shout It Out Loud, Calling Dr. Love, Christine 16. I've heard all these songs many times. Love Gun. My younger brother was in a band they named Love Gun after this song. I'm a Legend Tonight, Modern Day Delia, Hell or Hallelujah. I don't know if I skipped the song Beth, the one that Eric Singer sang with my granddaughter that I have a video of, and I promise not to play it tonight. I don't want to.
Thank you.
I was going to say I don't want to chase
not because of your daughter.
No,
not
I know
because
that.
of your.
I know.
Or your granddaughter, Royce.
Right.
That song's never done anything for me ever. From the first time, to me, it's cloying. I Was Made for Loving You is a damn good song. I love that. For me, Kiss is hit or miss. I've said this before. I think that Kiss, they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I know that we have members of the Kiss Army out there right now, and anything that I have to say as far as critically about Kiss, don't let that get your hair in a bonnet. Because you have to understand, when Kiss came out, I had already met my first wife, and I would say in a more serious, I'm kind of grown up now. And when they came out, and then I had the misfortune of seeing their made-for-TV movie. As Royce knows also, I'm not a big fan of makeup bands or hair bands. Those are two genres that I'm not a big expert in. And in a way, Kiss is kind of like both. but they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They deserve to be there. They've made a
Absolutely.
couple
100%.
of good, they've made a couple of good albums. I think there's a lot of misses there. And part of it is, I guess, I just don't get it. The whole comic book thing, the whole collecting kissable items and things like that. Royce and I were talking before. You'll see I've got these collectibles up on my wall. That was to set up my YouTube studio. You know, that was part of how I set up, how I wanted to present myself.
Right.
If I did not have a YouTube channel, I wouldn't have this stuff back here. I love them. I love them. I'm glad I have them. But there was a purpose why I bought them, right?
Yeah.
I've got a couple of shirts from bands like Led Zeppelin, Beatles, Pink Floyd. I've got a couple of cups from bands, but they're gifts that I get, you know, from my wife and my daughter and my son. You know, they know I'm a big Beatle fan. They see something, they grab it. All right. But I'm not a collectible, and a whole lot about Kiss has always been collectible. I'm not a fan of the Avatar shows in general, and Kiss is at the, you know, the vanguard of that, and we're going to get an inundation on that. So my whole thing is not a big Kiss fan. However, I'm not a big Motley Crue fan either, and yet I like Mick Mars. And the whole reason why I even went through this was to say, I've always liked Ace Frehley. Royce, did you ever see the famous interview with Tom Schneider and them on the, what was that, the Today Show or the Tomorrow Show?
I think that's an old interview, but yes.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that, yeah.
I mean, he was the star of the show. And man, that guy had to be stoned out of his freaking mind. They all must have been, to even tolerate his shenanigans. But somehow I loved it. And so I looked it up, and before coming up, I rewatched the interview. Man, you got to be stoned to even follow that interview. But he took over the whole thing, and Tom Schneider's goofing all over the blue, you know, type of, yeah, because Ace manages to get down to Tom Schneider's level of intellect. I've never been a Tom Schneider fan, right?
Yeah.
Never. And
been gone for a long time.
I know, but his whole approach, I was watching other people like Dick Cavett, you know, the guy from England, and his whole, you know, he was just too goof off for me. But Ace purposefully got down to his level and completely mind something into him. All right. I noticed, see what I did there, Royce? I didn't use the word, but he didn't mess with his mind, but he got down and he entertained him. And that's the show within the show. So like Mick Mars, Ace Frehley would have to be by far my favorite member of Kiss, and he put out a couple of good songs. Matter of fact, which one was the one? He had a top 20 with one of his hits, right? And so talented. Yeah. Okay, now here's the thing. One of the greatest guitarists in the world? No. Not when you're talking about like the likes of Ritchie Blackmore, Santana, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, things like that. But he even admitted in an interview.
But that's a very small group, though, Michael.
Right.
I mean,
right.
There's Go ahead.
Well, there's another 20 I could mention before I'd mention Ace, or 30 even.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay. Now he is good. He is good. He even admitted that he was pretty much untaught. He had to teach himself. Right. There was no lessons involved in everything, and I hear that in his guitar playing because I hear it in mine. All right. That's how I learned. And so when I listen to his solos, I love them. But he is a limited guitarist, but he can shine on what he does, you know, and it somehow fits, especially.
No, it really does. When they interviewed him, it was so melodic. There's so much, you know, there's all kinds of styles. We all know that.
Right.
Some of them, like the Eddie Van Halen, just insane speed tapping and stuff like that.
Right.
Then you have some guys like go ahead.
I have something that I can connect both of what you guys are saying at the same time here. when I was looking earlier for stuff for talking points, I come across an article from CBC News talking about his death and whatever, and there's tributes coming from other guitar players talking about Ace.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. They're flooding in.
Tributes were paid to Frehley following the announcement of his death by a number of musicians, including guitarist Tommy Morello of the Rage Against the Machine, Mike McCready of Pearl Jam,
right?
The band Pantera, whose late guitar player Dimebag Darrell had an image of Frehley tattooed on his chest.
Oh well, I've seen Dan McNew is very tight. Was very tight with Dimebag Darrell, a big fan and close friend. And he put up a video last night of Dimebag and Ace, playing. I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, he said he got. He sent me a message. Said he got to meet him and everything.
Yeah.
So it's too bad we don't have Dan up tonight.
Yeah, and you know what?
He could have added so much to the panel.
Yeah, and you know what? I confused Dan with Chris. Dan was the one that said he had some games he was going to be watching.
Yeah.
Sports games.
Oh, okay.
Tonight. Yeah.
Well, there was one story on a video I was watching earlier about Ace. It was something about him and Dimebag and two of the girls they were with were backstage, and they were getting really drunk, and Ace was getting performed by his girlfriend. And you said Dimebag and his girlfriend were just sitting there watching it, and said they were so drunk they didn't even know what they were seeing.
I saw an interview where Ace said he was being interviewed and he goes, yeah, Gibson sent me my signature. They sent me my 12 guitars. He says, I kept 2, sold 10 and bought a Maserati or whatever car he said in the interview. But that's always been his thing. Remember, we covered this when they were coming up on their last show, and there was a big outcry for the original lineup to show up and be there. And Ace Frehley, I remember doing one of my videos saying, yeah, pay me $1 million and I'll show up.
Yeah.
Because they were encouraging, but they were, hey, man, this is Ace freaking Frehley. I don't know this other, I know Tommy, but I don't care about him.
Well, everybody, all the other guitar players had massive respect, for Ace. I've seen him on stage several times with Slash. I've seen him on stage with Zakk Wylde. And they're not playing with bums. They're playing with guys they really respect. And Ace was a great guitar player. Like I started to say earlier, you got so many different styles to the playing. You got Eddie Van Halen, that's lightning fast, and you'll have someone like Roger Gilmore. He's not playing lightning fast. Probably could if he wanted to, but every note that he hits couldn't have been chosen better. It's just like tasty perfection, So, and Ace is, of course, somewhere in between it all.
Okay, I was just going to say.
Hey, Caitlin, how are you?
Good. How are you guys? I just texted. Okay, hi.
You look like you were sleeping when you came on. I'm just messing with you. You know that.
Yeah, I know you're Michael.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing, Kate?
Everybody say hello to my good friend Randy Deadwax 66.
Randy, let's go.
How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Are you a big Kiss fan? Were you a big Kiss fan, Randy? Let us know. You might have to come up and say a few words and help us out here. All right, but anyway, good seeing you. I just wanted to say hi. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Jersey Devil. Word is that Halloween Tom Snyder show, Ace had a lot of champagne and cocaine before going on. Well, that does not surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Kate, have you seen Ace in concert?
I have never had the honor to see him in concert, but I've been blessed enough to hear his music and understand why people love him and why people call him a wonderful guitarist. That I know.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't been that blessed.
Right. Okay. Well, you know what? We started the show. We just rushed into it, and I really didn't get a chance to even introduce everybody. Next to me is Michael Nolan, The Bottom Line, fantastic live podcast. He typically goes twice weekly. He goes Wednesday nights and he goes Sunday nights at 5 p.m. after his show on Sunday night at 5 p.m., which usually runs all the way to 6 and maybe a little beyond, he comes over and joins me as a co-host on my show, The Four Horsemen, right after that. And that usually runs about an hour and a half, and it can run, as much as 2 hours. We try not to put a limit on it. Just depends on where we're at in the show, what we're talking about. So, okay, so directly below me is Caitlin Stoddard. She's got a show, Kate's Magical Corner. And both Michael and I were there tonight, and Dan's been going there, and of course Sir James is co-host.
I see a
lot of people are going there, and we always encourage everybody to check. Kate, what days do you stream? What days do you stream, and at what time?
Wednesday, Friday, noon, Mountain Time.
Wednesday and Friday at noons. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mountain Time. Okay. So check out Kate's Magical Corner.
I was on your stream, by the way, Caitlin. I'm recovering from a couple of days of feeling ill, so I didn't make any comments. But I had John. I saw when Royce came in and all of that. A great stream today.
Yeah. Well, I was on. I had my phone sitting under the hood of my car, and I was trying to change the battery. But anyway,
that's not Michael.
I was tired. Royce, I was tired of jumping that car every couple of days. Go ahead, Michael.
I did want. Well, go ahead and introduce Chris, and then I'll bring this up later. Sorry, Chris.
Directly below Michael is our good friend and extremely knowledgeable about bands and music, Chris Elliott. And Chris, you have somewhat of a show yourself, don't you? Somewhat. I'm not trying to be insulting, but it's not like a live podcast that people access like they do this one. But
it's actually it's live. It's on Zoom.
Okay.
If you go to my YouTube page, in the description, there's a link for it. It's Wednesday afternoons from 3 till 4:30 Eastern. Like Caitlin, when I'm gathering music for my show, you're on live, but I don't ever get a chance to join you. Oh,
okay. It's totally fine.
So how does somebody find you if they go to Zoom looking for you?
There's a link right there.
On his channel.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the first time I was aware. When we're done streaming, Chris, I'll check it out and hook up with you, because I was going to do that one night, and you said Zoom, and I still didn't know how to get you. So I'll click on the link.
Yeah, I had a little trouble finding myself a couple of times when I went looking for you.
Yeah, it's a show I put on. I volunteer for. It's a local show here. Well, it's not local. It's on Zoom. I have people from one person from Europe, another person from Indiana, and a lot of people from Windsor, Toronto area.
Okay. Yeah, we get a lot of people from Canada watching the show here.
That's
good. Of course, the biggest audience is the USA, but that's only I think 66%, and then Canada is next, and then after that England, and there's a whole bunch of bits and pieces they don't bother to list. That's why the ones they do list plus America don't come anywhere near 100%. No. That makes any sense. Okay, so Kate, I know you're a big Kiss fan.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite Kiss album?
Oh gosh, it's like picking my favorite Kiss song. Oh gosh, how dare you ask that question?
Are you in the Kiss army? Come on now, come clean.
Yes, I'm in Kiss. Don't ask stupid questions.
The Kiss army is like the most.
I'm gonna probably, since somebody's being negative Nancy, I'm gonna probably go. Probably Dress to Kill. Probably one of my favorites.
Hey, Rockin' Robin Bird, good to see you.
I think Just to Kill was definitely one of my favorites for sure, and then probably Rock and Roll Over is up there as well.
Okay.
No Destroyer.
Randy,
it's in third place, Mr. Snoop.
Randy Deadwack 66. Michael, I think you'll like this too. Randy Deadwack 66. I've got his message up. Says Kiss was every kid's hero band, and I think that's kind of what you and I were alluding to a little bit, because we were a little older. We were a little older when they were popular.
Right. Yeah. There was some interest in my youngest brother of them. You know, he was around 12 or 13 at the time, and I was 19, going on 20 real quick by the time I was aware of him. Maybe I was 20 by the time I really connected. And, like I said before, it was how they were presented. And I've always said, I've only have room for one makeup guy. That's Alice Cooper. And I had continued to be interested in Alice Cooper, mainly because I was there at the age that many Kiss Army fans were when Kiss arrived for Alice Cooper. But I've never been, Alice Cooper's the one guy with and the rest of the band wasn't all, made up in characters or anything. They dressed flamboyantly. And that's about as far as I could go with it. I didn't get into David Bowie until he tidied up and started doing stuff like Young Americans and things like that. Then I went back, and I'm a fan of, Spiders of Mars and all of that. But at the time, there was Alice Cooper. Other than that, man, it was like, first of all, I'm a Beatle fan. Then I made the leap to Led Zeppelin that helped me to find Deep Purple and Black Sabbath right around the same time as Led Zeppelin. So I was more interested in, instead of Detroit Rock City, I want to hear about Icarus Flew Too High, that type of stuff. Draw a story for me. Anthem rock with headbanging isn't my forte. I hear the power of the music. I hear everybody, why they're good and everything. I'm just saying why it didn't quite gel with me. But I'm still quite, aware of the band. They've done good shows. I watched some of their early shows in New York. They were hot at the beginning. They were tight. And they haven't maintained that tightness at all. And matter of fact, they went out with Paul Stanley lip syncing at the very least. All right. And there's even reason to believe there were more backing tracks. And I'm not a fan of that. But that has nothing to do with Ace Frehley. When he was in the band, it was an organic band. And like I said, tons of respect for him. And if it sounded like I was cutting down his guitar skills, I was not. I was not at all.
No, it's you're simply pointing out that he wasn't top 10 or top 20.
I just don't think he's one of rock's greatest virtuosos. But I also don't rank Tony Iommi as high as a lot of people would. He's the riff master incarnate, but I wouldn't compare him to a Richie Blackmore.
Oh no!
Or
Dead Wax just brought this up, Randy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway, like I said, guys,
that's a cool album.
The first time I watched Kiss perform, it was the late 70s. I drove from where I live now in California back to my parents' house just outside of Vegas in Henderson, where I grew up, and I walked in. My wife and I walked in. Here's my mother and father and my younger brother, whose band was named Love Gun at the time. And they're all sitting there watching Kiss concert on TV. And they're like, Royce, this is so much fun. Do you like Kiss? I'm like, well, yeah. And they said, well, sit down and watch it with us. These guys are like wild. I mean, they're all painted up, but they're really good musicians. And I was like, yeah. So I sat there and watched that with them. And I had fun. How could you not? I mean, okay. Yeah. Turkey basters for microphones. Hell yeah, I love Kiss. That's funny. But anyway, so let's go back to a little bit of the facts of the matter. Okay, so Ace Frehley, as I had just mentioned before we started chatting it up in the channel, suffered from some brain bleeding, was on life support yesterday, and passed away. So his family issued the following statement, and I have to read that statement. Okay. We were completely devastated and heartbroken. In his last moments, we were fortunate enough to have been able to surround him with loving, caring, peaceful words, thoughts, and prayers as he left this earth. We cherish all of his finest memories, his laughter. We celebrate his strengths and kindness that he bestowed upon others. The magnitude of his passing is of epic proportion. Of course it is. And beyond comprehension, reflecting on all of his incredible life achievements, Ace's memory will continue to live on forever. Forever.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
So that was a statement from the family. All right. So anyway, we'll go back to the panel now and continue. So Tim Henry, how you doing, brother?
Tim.
Just worried about you sometimes. Think about you often. Dead Wax, Ace was supposed to play here next week, Detroit area. Oh, wow.
It was
Wow.
good to see Ben Scheidegger in the comments. He's been away for a while and has recently started coming. Welcome, Ben, if you're still there watching us.
Yeah.
Hope all is well. And Ben and I had a quick exchange, and I hear you, Ben. This time of year isn't a great time for me. I lost my mother around this time decades ago, but I think that kind of psychology connects. And then also, I probably have a little bit of seasonal affect disorder. I come to life in spring through fall, and winter just puts me in the doldrums. I'm not a winter kind of guy, you know. And Ben, prayers and thoughts to you.
Yeah. Ben was in the chat probably 35, 40 minutes earlier, or 35, 40 minutes earlier, along with Dr. Insomnia and Tim Henry and Rockin' Robin Bird and a whole bunch of people that
Divining Dragon, who was in earlier, said he sent me a cartoon of this little figure beating the crap out of this huge figure with this bass guitar, and then he turns around, the guitar's all broken, and this weird fiendish cartoon drawing of Ace, Peter, Paul, and Gene, a bassless Gene looking and glaring down at him. He just sent that to me, man. Good one, Dragon.
I love this comment by John Swainer. 74-77 was a magical time. Kiss, Rush, Aerosmith. The first 4 studio albums from each are timeless. Absolutely, John. Hey, thanks for commenting, brother. Good to see you. Yeah, I thought maybe right now I would just ask everybody to do me a proper hit that like or thumbs up button. As you've probably all heard me say 100 times, what happens is when you hit that first milestone, the algorithm continues showing looking for more people that they think would be interested in seeing your show after the live. And they keep putting it in front of people that are searching for content. And you just wind up, it just enhances your growth. More people find out about the channel, more people come and watch. And so we're getting a little bump here lately. So we'd like to keep that going. And down on my hands and knees now. And if there's anybody out there that's not already subscribed to the channel, please do me a proper and hit that subscribe button. When the notification bell pops up, hit that and you'll just get a one-time notification that a new show is coming out. Tonight is not a normal time for me to do a show. My live podcast is typically Sunday at 6:30 p.m. But when I found out yesterday that Ace died, I was putting on a small pre-recorded show that I recorded the day before, and people were coming into the live chat saying, "Hey man, how come you're not talking about, Ace, man? He would have fit perfectly into what you're talking about now," which happened to be sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But anyway, I said, guys, this was recorded yesterday. I can't change it,
Yeah, I got a notification again from Christian, Divining Dragon, that he had passed. And so I shot off, looked it up, got the information and everything.
I saw that.
I had that short up in a half second. Boy, he is a major character of rock, because that short, just before I got up here, well past 20,000 views. I mean, a lot of action on that short.
That's incredible. That's incredible, Michael.
So a tip of the hat to you, Christian, for giving me that, because you just added 20,000 views to my channel. I appreciate it.
and how many minutes? That was under 5 minutes, wasn't it?
Oh God, it was under.
I know.
Was it even 30 seconds long? I can get a lot of information in 30 seconds, but it covered the bases. It was just to, get out there and also a way to shout out people who really support my channel. They come up with a good idea. I'll make a short or I'll make a video. Right. I mean, they're part of the tribe, baby. And I listen to my tribe. I listen to my tribe.
They're also warriors on the Four Horsemen.
Anyway,
let's get back. Okay, so born Paul Daniel Frehley into a musical family, April of 27, 1951 in New York City. The Ace nickname, I thought this was kind of humorous. The Ace nickname came from his high school success at scoring dates. He began playing guitar at age 13, and 8 years later answered a classified ad posted by Paul Stanley, who together with Gene Simmons and Peter Criss were looking for a lead guitar player at the age of 18, guys, with flash and ability. He didn't make the most positive impression. He walked in with one orange sneaker and one red sneaker, Stanley recalled. I thought a bum had walked in off the street, except for he was carrying a guitar, Gene Simmons said. Okay, so luckily, Frehley's guitar playing did the talking. When we all plugged in and played together, there was just magic, Stanley remembered. Simmons agreed. As soon as he played, it was like, this is it. The search is over. This is it. The 4 members of KISS each adopted comic book style makeup and costumes, refusing to let their real faces be photographed in public. The band quickly earned a reputation for their bombastic live shows, obviously, which would grow to include levitating platforms, pyrotechnics, smoking guitars. I had fun watching that as their popularity grew. Okay. After their first 3 albums failed to connect with the mainstream record buying audience, in 1975's Alive catapulted the group to superstardom status. They remained there for the rest of the decade, although Frehley was growing displeased with his backseat role in the group. So Ace Frehley's successful solo endeavors and exit from KISS. Okay, in 78.
Actually, he got concerned once they all voted Peter Criss out. Then it became a 2-to-1 fight. It was always Gene and Paul versus Ace, because Eric Singer, he wasn't a member. I mean, he was, but he wasn't. He had no vote. He had no voting power. And so it became, instead of a possible occasional 50-50 split, now he had to deal with a 2-to-1 gang up, much like what happened with the Eagles and Don Henley and the other Don that I'm not thinking of. But anyway, it's a matter of membership, and that's why he finally said, "I've had enough."
Right.
And then he made Frehley's Camel.
Okay, so
or not Frehley's Camel. I'm thinking Frehley's Comet.
Okay, well, let's Frehley's Comet. That's right, and 10,000 volts a couple of years ago. In 1978, partly to relieve interpersonal tensions within the band, each member of KISS simultaneously released a solo album. And guess what, folks? Frehley's was a revelation, the best reviewed, the best selling of the 4, and featured his top 20 cover of the song New York Groove. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I mean, so how Ace Frehley set out to show those guys on his solo debut. Okay, although that success earned him equal space with Stanley and Simmons on KISS' next 2 albums, substance abuse, of course, issues, and a dissatisfaction with the increasingly pop direction of the band's music led Frehley to withdraw from the group after the recording of 1981's disastrous concept album, Music from the Elder. In 87, Frehley launched his solo career with a well-received Frehley's Comet album. the first of 3 records he'd released in as many years. In 1996, he reunited with Kiss for a series of highly successful reunion tours. Although the same creative substance abuse and interpersonal issues that had plagued the foursome before eventually rose up again, leading him to leave the band for good in 2002. Ace Frehley, later years, sobriety, career revival, tensions with Kiss. After finally overcoming his substance abuse in 2006, Frehley launched his solo career with renewed vigor, touring steadily and releasing well-received albums such as 2009's Anomaly and 2014's Space Invader. Okay, folks, let's get the group back up and get a conversation going here. So if Ace left, the 4 of them, the 4 members of Kiss, all made a solo album, and Ace's was the best. It was the most well received and sold the best. I think that's pretty damn cool, don't you guys?
Yeah, I have a copy. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll trade you a Monkeys for it. A Monkeys.
No, take me out. Then we'll talk.
Send you an Alice. Well, if I had a duplicate, I'd say yes to that.
Like,
why? Okay, I was going to change the subject. I don't want to do that. Somebody told me last week I got off topic and gave me the moment and seconds that it happened. And they were right. And sometimes we do get off topic. And I ain't going to
live with it. Live with it.
No, I know. Michael,
Jesus.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, we're
how
right?
very anal retentive. You know, yeah, we do get off topic sometimes. It does. We've gone down some rivers we shouldn't, but it's live, folks. You know.
Yeah, I've had to hold myself back a couple of times.
Right. I got something that'll drag us back in.
Okay,
we were talking about Ace Frehley and that, and I was doing a little bit of research earlier, and one of his first encounters with rock and roll and big bands and whatever. Well, not big band, but in rock bands and whatever.
Yeah,
is he said he was at a show with Jimi Hendrix and a few other bands, some concert like a festival, and he said he was standing around and he was watching where the bands would come out from backstage and watch the other bands and whatever, and so he decided to sneak in there and just mingle around and just talking to everybody. And somebody came up to him. He says, "Are you a member of the band or something?" He goes, "No, I just snuck in here." He goes, "Well, can you do anything?" He goes, "Yeah." He says, "I can set up amps, I can tune guitars, I can set up drum kits." He goes, "Well, there's a drum kit over there. Go set it up for us." Okay. He said he's in the middle of setting it up. He looks over and Mitch Mitchell walks over, and he was setting up Mitch Mitchell's drum kit for the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Right on.
18 years old. Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
You know, that fits so well into his personality, Chris, because he was also in that interview that I had mentioned before. He and Royce mentioned this. He was called Ace because, you know, he was always hot and could get the chicks. And that was quite helpful with the band in the early years too. But the person who was interviewing him said, you know, why are you called Ace? He says, "Well, I had a way with the chick." She goes, "Had a way?" He goes, "Have a way."
Oh, boy.
Yeah, let me say hi, Joseph Blue, and Dr. Rick, our good friend Dr. Rick, said prayers for Stormcop, who's in the hospital.
Yes, we just found that out on my last stream.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. I was wondering
I sent off an email to James, and I haven't received anything, or at least within the since this morning. I like I said, I've been under the weather, but I haven't heard anything back from him yet. So, but we send him well wishes from, you know, the tribe and everything. So
absolutely.
Subscriber buying is falling with sleep. Does
I
anybody
already
know?
took them out. Don't worry about it.
What's that? Oh, you timed her. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got him. Don't worry about it. I didn't give him a live day.
Subscriber, I love that. Subscriber buyer is falling asleep.
Don't listen to him.
Well, I just took it to the next level and banned
Good.
whoever that is.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, I'm like, don't worry about it. I already kicked them, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
I already did. I didn't tell you till now. We were talking.
Well, if you want, Royce, I can. There's a small passage in here about the band Kiss. If you want me to read through that.
Yes, go ahead. Please do.
I want to hear it. Go for it.
Okay, it says. Go ahead, Royce.
No, I'm sorry. Before you start, just the facts, man. Dan is in the chat. Hey guys, sorry I couldn't be there at a high school football game. Yeah. No worries, Dan. We appreciate all your participation, and none of us can make it every time.
It's okay, man.
Things come up, family matters, and everything else. So anyway, have fun at the game, and let us know if your team won. Oh God. Anyway, I just about got distracted again. Go ahead, Chris.
All right. It says originating out of New York in 1973. At the tail end of androgynous cycle set in motion by the likes of David Bowie and Lou Reed, Kiss were initially received with quite unprecedented bile in most quarters, as representing the very nadir of the then long outplayed glam rock era. What could have been more suspicious than a hitherto unknown band who had taken stage makeup to the extreme by completely obliterating their futures behind garish grease paint, and who blitzkrieged audiences with an arsenal of explosive devices, snow machines, police lights, sirens, rocket firing guitars, levitating drum kits, and, as if all that wasn't sufficient to disguise their apparent ineptitude, a fire-eating bass player. That this same outfit went on to rise meteorically in 3 years to become one of America's hottest in-concert and album-shifting bands still remains to some not only one of rock's all-time mysteries, but also one of the most distressing symptoms of the genre's declining in the 70s. All right. Such, at any rate, was the hostility that faced the group when they set out to interest the youth of America in 1973-74 on a touring schedule which had them gigging virtually 7 nights a week. It was an arduous initiation, but first as a support band, they gradually got through to a new generation of American rock fans, to the point where their first 2 albums, Kiss and Hotter Than Hell, were able to rack up healthy sales around the 250,000 mark. Dressed to Kill peddled the same crass formula in 1975, the year the Kiss Army started to assemble, and the big league beckoned. The Eddie Kramer produced album, or double live set, Alive, was a monster U.S. seller and was marginally improved studio album Destroyer in 1976. This was produced by Bob Ezrin and provided the uncharacteristic Beth, a million-selling American single. Kramer returned to production console for Rock and Roll Over, and later in 1976 led Kiss back once more into the pits of excess. Despite the fact that it's all no more than recycled heavy metal grunge, decked out in comic book trappings, the uncomfortable thought is that Kiss might well be the most successful rock band of the decade, at least the band, who have never allowed themselves to be photographed without their makeup, don't seem under too many illusions about their merits. And that's the end of that. But that was
I think it's the heavy use of makeup, the overly heavy use of makeup, the transition into something that was beyond glam is what caught with them. And of course, you got to go on the road to sell that. So a 2-year period leading up to 75, when they really made it big and people were aware of them. Now that you nailed down that year, Chris, I was 20. So I was 20 when they came out, probably a bit too old to bite.
Hey, yeah. I think Dan, just the facts, man, he's got a message here. I hired Ace in 2009 to perform at the Ride for Dimebag Darrell. Okay. Dan organized the Ride for Dam. Great guy and a big influence to Dimebag Darrell. Dan, are you actually available to come on and tell us some of these great stories?
No, he's at a football game, right?
Oh yeah, I guess that would be kind of hard. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Never mind.
Okay, never mind. Anyway, thank you. Thanks for putting that here. Big influence on Dimebag Darrell. Yeah, that's totally cool. And I saw that video you put up with them.
Hey, Royce.
Yes.
I would be willing to give up my square if Dan wants to come up.
No, but he's at a football game right now.
Yeah, he's at a high school football game. Right
now. Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I thought if he was available and you wanted to keep it still the Four Horsemen, I will of course give up my spot for Dan anytime. So just let me know.
Ben give you $5.
Ben is awesome. Oh, man, great job. Thanks, Ben.
Oh, Ben. Hey, much appreciated, Ben. Much appreciated, young man. Ben has just been
we were talking about Ben earlier, in a comment I made on the stream.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I got a side story about the song Beth, if you want to hear it.
Yes.
Once Rosalie Tremblay, she was the music manager here at CKLW, that based in Windsor, but a Detroit radio station. And she was talking, like Kiss was in her office trying to get a song played or whatever. And so she didn't really know much about him, but her daughter had the Kiss album with the song Beth on it. And she kept listening to it over and over and over. So she decided to try it on the radio station, and it ended up becoming one of their biggest albums. Just because she heard her daughter listening to it, she put it on AM 800, which was a massive influence. They were able to cover up to 16 states on a clear night on the Midwest. And so after that, she played it on there because she heard her daughter liked it, and it became one of their biggest songs.
That was the biggest song by them. Well, that was the highest charting song by Kiss.
I want to give another shout out to Ben for the super chat. And right here we have our dear friend Rockin' Robin Bird. How you doing, Rockin' Robin? Thank you so much.
Man.
Thanks, Robin.
Rockstar.
Angela, you ruined it.
What?
Angela just gave a spoiler on the baseball game. I was hoping to avoid that.
Oh.
So thank you, Rockin' Robin. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. I've got some things coming up. I'll talk about them on Sunday night. I'm coming up with some ideas. I've ordered some merchandise. I was initially thinking about putting it in a merchandise store, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something else. I just want to get it out there. So anyway, thanks everybody. Oberheim, Doc Insomnia, Kiss Too Sophisticated. Sophisticated.
No,
yeah, they're sophisticated.
I did.
Okay. All right. So let's see, folks. Let's go back, see if we got any more things to say here. Okay. So it looks like Ace actually maintained a testy relationship with his former bandmates after leaving the group for the second time. He, Simmons, Stanley would occasionally appear on each other's solo records, but were just as likely to trade nasty barbs and threats in the press. When the group's original lineup was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2014, various disagreements kept them from performing together, and that's really sad, And neither Frehley nor Chris joined the group on stage for any Kiss end of the road retirement shows, and that's what I was mentioning. That end of the end of the road retirement show. My son-in-law and I went over and hooked up with Eric Singer, Kiss's drummer. And Gene and Paul were up in the hotel where we went and met him at, and we toured London a little bit with Eric, and it was a fun time. Okay, but a bond clearly remained between the guys in spite of all the hostilities and stuff. Despite the many ups and downs I had with Kiss over the years, I couldn't help but remember all the fun we shared in our formative years. Frehley declared in his 2011 autobiography, No Regrets. No regrets? Really? Okay. Hey, something just popped up on screen again, and it was Brother Ben. Brother Ben. He a member for 5 months. Okay.
This is him
That's
exercising
off for
his
the tribe.
membership rights to send you a highlighted message.
Awesome. Awesome, brother. That's
Well
amazing.
done.
That
what does he
is
say here?
amazing.
Hats off for the tribe. Oh, I like that message. I like that message.
Thank you, my warrior. Thank you, my warrior.
Tip and cap off to you too.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. We appreciate you big time. Let's see. Craig Jones saw Ace last year in Rome, New York. Oh, that's cool. Chris Elliott, no problem, Angela. Oberheim, Dr. Rick. Or were you a fan of Kansas? Rampage Video. Well, Dawson's here. I have a recorded phone call with me, Eddie Trunk, Dizzy Reed. Oh, Dizzy Reed. I know Dizzy Reed somewhere in my archives. Well, you're talking about a keyboard player that, along with Teddy Zigzag, played for off and on for Guns N' Roses. I've watched him perform at a very small venue, actually a little winery. Caitlin Stoddard, Dr. Rick, Oberheim, yes. Oberheim, Dr. Rick, I only recently. Okay. This is what does this button do? That's funny. Okay, so Ace went on to say that we achieved greatness in the music industry, had several groundbreaking achievements well into the new millennium. To this day, I still consider them my brothers in rock and roll and love them. Well, you know what? That's really, really a cool thing to hear. Okay, so let's get the panel up and start chatting about this a little bit. So,
Dr. Rick, you're right. I am a Kansas fan.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when did that start? When they started winning?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I would. I'm not accusing you of being
the band.
I would never accuse you of being a bandwagon jumper.
No. I'm talking about
You're talking
the band.
about Kansas.
The band. There's only one Kansas in my world, man.
Right.
No.
Actually, I saw them a little bit before COVID. They were really good. I actually got a video on my channel. I think I got the song "Carry On Wayward Son." I was able to record it with my phone.
You know what, Chris? That song was the end of a movie starring Henry Winkler and Sally Field called Heroes. And in the end, the main character is lying devastated with her holding him. And he's a retired vet. Some horrible things have happened, and he finally just loses it. And all of a sudden you hear, "Carry on my wayward." Oh, my God. What a powerful ending to a movie.
Sounds like it.
Now, if you watch it now, it doesn't have that. They replaced it. They lost the rights. And so subsequent copies of that movie has a different tune. Isn't that sad?
Really?
Yeah, because that would put a whole new feeling to it. Yeah.
That soundtrack made that movie a masterpiece. We're talking about Oh, by the way, it also has, before he was discovered, the guy played Han Solo.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford plays a part in it.
Ford, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sally Field and Henry Winkler, right after he was done playing the Fonz, he wanted to do something heavy. And he does something heavy in this.
Hey, Michael,
it's the song that sold the whole thing.
That's awesome.
Michael, I know you'll love this comment from Dr. Insomnia I have on screen. Kiss wasn't sophisticated. I was spoiled by Zeppelin. I know you can relate to that because I can relate to that. Okay.
Well, you know, if push comes to shove, if you're going to compare Kiss, who were a good band, especially when they came out. I mentioned earlier, I watched a lot of their earlier performances. My God, my only problem, my only criticism is the back and forth and doing it together. Oh my God! I just want makes me want to go bye.
Oh God, Michael!
Oh no! That's silliness, man.
You don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. I know what it is. You don't get it.
Explain it to him,
Roy shows me $20 because backstage, him and I had a bet that I couldn't get her going tonight.
Oh, really?
I said, no way. You'll never get Caitlin going.
We weren't talking about you backstage. I made that whole shit up, man. You're the divine Caitlin. Stop it.
First, I rolled my eyes. Next, you know, I exploded like Old Faithful.
My wife loves you.
I know. I love her too.
Absolutely.
I love Kim.
Anybody with any taste loves you.
Yellowstone isn't flat. Okay, Ace.
No, I'm glad that Caitlin's up here because I do have criticisms, and she is a major Kiss fan, and it's good. I want you to insert and tell me I'm full of shit because, you know, a lot of people who are watching this right now want to hear the good portions of Kiss. Now, I've brought up positive things about them, but I'm also, I'm kind of the, that's why they call me Warhorse. You know, it's kind of my job. You know?
That's why they call me Resurrection, because you know what? they're a fine band. They are. I just wanted to say I love this comment by What Does This Button Do? Ace-like ability is the top qualification at the Bill and Ted School of Musical Excellence.
Ooh. Oh, ouch. Not even I have been that cool.
No, but I it's funny though. That's all. I mean, Rampage video, Wild Stallion. There you go, brother. You're a fast learner. You're the devil. Henry Winkler was the creator of MacGyver TV show.
Oh, geez,
he wanted a primetime action show.
Oh.
Let me see. I don't want to get off topic, but I heard something the other day that Henry Winkler heard Sylvester Stallone's pitch with the movie Rocky that he'd written, but he was only going to give it to the studio or sell it to the studio with him as the actor. And Henry and the guy said, no, we'll take the script. We'll buy the script from you, but we're not going to let you be the actor in it. Henry Winkler went back to that guy. Henry Winkler had a lot of clout at the time and said, no, this kid's got something. You want to have him do his show.
Well, didn't they both star in The Lords of Flatbush together? So they had already had a kind of a friendship?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up. I don't want to talk about it anymore because we're getting off topic. Okay, yes, so let's go. Let's see if there's any more stuff here. Okay. I want to say this. Okay, I have something from Gene Simmons here about the passing of Ace that I would like to read to everybody.
Read Alice Cooper's too. That was cool.
Yeah, we are devastated by the passing of Ace Frehley. He was an essential and irreplaceable rock soldier during some of the most formative, foundational chapters of the band and its history. He is and always will be a part of Kiss's legacy.
Well, to me, there's only 4 members, and so he's even more than that to me. What do you think, Caitlin?
Okay, I kind of disagree. I agree.
I thought you might, yeah, because to me, it's the 4 that made it, and anything past that, it for me, it just doesn't do it. I certainly am not interested in anything they have done since then. Although my interest was limited before, I did have an interest in the band. The one album that I had for a very short time, I traded it, was Destroyer. Okay, yeah.
Well, you know, All right. So.
All right. I want to hear Caitlin's answer to Michael, though. Michael cut her off.
Yeah.
I want to hear what Caitlin
Okay.
said.
Okay. Go ahead,
you
Kate.
just want to have a fight. That's what you want. Okay, well,
No.
respectfully, without mangling you this time, I'll probably say, I understand. It's like, as a kid, I've been a Kiss fan since I was 17, okay? And people always had their different views, which I respected, okay? But for me, Kiss was Kiss. It didn't matter for me what version it was. Because, this is my humble opinion, yes, Ace and Peter, yes, absolutely, 100%. I respect that. And I agree to a certain extent. But if you go and look at the history of Kiss, I mean, I know this is not what you care about because it's far beyond the beginning, but if you look into what Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer did, I mean, before they even went into the band, that does qualify them as part of the band. They done work behind the scenes before they even played with that band.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, I respect that, Caitlin. My viewpoint always comes from there are certain bands that are what I call legacy bands, right?
Yeah.
That are identified by a core membership, and you don't mess with those. You don't mess with the Beatles. You don't mess with Led Zeppelin. And despite any criticisms I've said of Kiss, this is actually a compliment to them when I say, and you don't mess with Kiss, because they're that iconic. What they created, the way does anybody on the panel know who's responsible for pushing all these deals that got them a comic book and a made for TV? Brilliant strategy, man. Brilliant strategy. That's the Kiss that I have respect for. Anything after is just trying to fill seats in a stadium.
Yeah, respect.
And they did do their farewell tour, and they went back on their word how many times? Right?
Along with just about everybody else out there. Yeah,
I was just going to say, yeah.
I know, but Royce, I criticize those rockers.
I know
too.
You do.
Yeah.
In all fairness, absolutely. Yes,
right.
You do.
So I'm not picking on
No, you're not.
Kiss, and I'm not even criticizing Kiss, really, if you think about it, because I only recognize the one Kiss, and they were very good. When they were at their best, they were very good. Were they one of my favorite bands? No, but I wouldn't turn off their songs. They didn't make me run screaming for the hills.
No,
like Taylor Swift does.
No, there's nothing hard to. I like a lot of them. I haven't even heard them on. I like a lot.
No, and they're competent. And on one of my earliest videos I did on Kiss, I complimented not only Ace's playing, but Gene Simmons can be a very good bass player. He's there at the end. He was simplifying his bass lines.
Yeah.
And not doing the job I expect a professional top of draw event like Kiss. There's just too much shenanigans there, and I think it hurt their leg. In the long run, will hurt their legacy. I don't think it is yet, because everybody's still in denial.
Right. Hey guys, has anybody else seen the Kiss coffins? Kiss makes coffins. There's a variety of styles. I've actually
I smell a Gene Simmons. Yep, I smell a Gene Simmons.
There's no doubt about that. But I've gone online and looked at them.
Oh God!
I think they're like $6-8 grand or something like that. But they're absolutely beautiful.
Well, they're not coffins. They're still in Vegas.
Okay, so a final comment for me is going to be that Ace played on 10 Kiss albums. The first 9. And then he followed up with during their reunion. He did Psycho Circus in 1998. Okay, so anyway, I might have to take a poll here, see if anybody wants to see drummer Eric Singer sing "Beth" with my granddaughter before we end the show.
Sure.
Put up.
You know what? I don't even know if I have it.
Don't do that. Put it up.
I don't even know if I have it in my.
Well, you're looking, Michael. You were talking about who set up the merchandising and stuff. Angela, in the comments, she was saying it was Bill Aucoin, their manager.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. 3, 2,
I'm gonna have
1.
to look up some more.
Okay. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Steven Adler, the original drummer of Guns N' Roses, was playing drums. Dizzy Reed, who played with Guns N' Roses also, was on keyboards. Eric, I can't think of his name, that was behind Eric Singer, another Eric, played in Jellyfish and a couple of other big bands and played for. Oh, and he also played in Slash's Snake Pit. He did.
Ooh, hey.
Dizzy. No, I mean Eric Dover. It was Eric Dover. Great guitar player and a great voice too. But they used to come and play at Rava Winery. My son-in-law used to set up all the shows. It was like a job for him, and the group of people that would show up was like insane. You know, all these people that were from LA that played in all these bands, and they all wanted, even though they weren't getting paid, there was a group that were getting paid to perform, and they called themselves let's see, Glam Nation. They called themselves Glam Nation. And but they had so many friends down in the Hollywood area that these guys would all show up and want to get up there and play with them, you know. I mean, you'd have Eric Singer, who was singing with my granddaughter on drums. Tommy Clefettis, Ozzy's drummer, would be playing drums also. They'd be like taking turns, and then Slim Jim Phantom from the Stray Cats would be waiting his turn to play the drums. And there were just so many people, different bassists and guitarists and keyboardists. Teddy Zigzag, another one that played a lot with Guns N' Roses on keyboards. The lineup was insane. I mean, I really enjoyed those shows. But anyway, that was what that was all about. Let me get back to my comment section.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Let's see. Any closing? Let's have closing comments from folks here. I just want to say that I don't enjoy what led me to doing this show, but I've enjoyed doing this show with everybody here. And I know that there's a lot of other people that have already done it. Some of them were done yesterday, the day that he passed. I mean, I felt, because I felt a little connection there with Kiss, as for reasons you just saw, and a little connection there with Ace, having watched him and enjoyed his show, that I just wanted to say so. I don't do this all the time. There's only been one other person, Jimmy Buffett, that I did any kind of a tribute show for, and that was a few years ago.
I remember that. Yeah.
I don't do this all the time, and I'm not I'm not an ambulance chaser, but I just felt like I had to do this one. And we'll still have our live Sunday podcast. And I'm still trying to decide what it's going to be on. But it was good. I was considering doing it on Chicago, you know, and so we might still go there. I'll give it a little bit more thought tomorrow, but I'm running out of time to be changing my mind. But that does happen. That does happen, folks. Randy, the Randy man can. The kid's pitch is way off, right? She actually got to try out for America's Got Talent last year. She got to go do a tryout.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, no, that was cool. Her pitch was way off. Yeah. Anyway, no, you're right. Anyway, it was fun. It was fun to sit there and watch your granddaughter, my youngest daughter, who currently lives with Betty and I. That's her daughter, and her name is Presley. So anyway, Michael, any closing comments, my brother?
No, not really. I've pretty much said what I have to say. It's been good to, sit back. I think what we kind of brought out tonight a little bit is, Ace and his personality. I kind of enjoyed some of the comments around that. And that's, tonight's been a bit of a wake for, everybody. And, I'm of Irish descent, my lad. And I think it's, a good wake has criticisms in it and everything. But I think it's been a celebration of Ace Frehley, a rock legend.
Rock legend.
Absolutely. Accomplished so much more than your average bear. And I always enjoyed reading articles about him and stuff. He was a kick in the ass to listen to in interviews. And that's why he would be my favorite member of the 4 original members.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. You made and all good points leading up to that statement too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, totally, Michael. Thank you. Chris, any closers?
No, I agree with what Michael said. I do have one thing here, though. I'd like to just show off. I only have the 2 Kiss CDs. I have the greatest hits, but I also have this one. It's called You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best.
I haven't seen that one.
But it's basically, it says in the
It'll
back.
cost you an Alice Cooper album.
You know what?
Yeah. But it's basically, it's
you paid me.
seems like a compilation of Kiss Alive 1 and Kiss Alive 2. And it's got a bunch of their memorabilia.
Right.
But it's also, it's got like
I like the packaging.
Yeah. And the disc itself has got the colored plastic too.
Yeah.
But it's got like a Room Service, 2-timer, Let Me Know, Rock Bottom, Parasite, Firehouse, I Stole Your Love,
I love that song.
Calling Dr. Love, Take Me, Shout It Out Loud,
Right.
Beth, Rock and Roll All Night. And then the interesting part, I mean, those are all live tracks, but there's a 17-minute or 17 and a half minute interview with the band from the Tonight Show studios. So it might have been something they did on late night.
Okay. Well, Randy from Dead Wax 66, I want to thank you for joining us. Miss some of you guys. I miss Aaron, Mr. Rosario too. I don't know what happened to Aaron. I hope
he's doing okay.
Yeah. You the 2 of you were also great together. And I would definitely recommend people go watch Dead Wax 66's YouTube channel as well. He's got a lot of good stuff on there. So anyway, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up. Dr. Rick's got a link here. Does anybody know what that link is for?
It's for a record show. He said that there's a record auction house that has some Kiss live bootlegs.
Okay. Well, this is my chats or shows all have a live replay on the chat. So if anybody needs to come back and find that, they can. Okay, what does this button do? Yes. That's great. It's been downhill for Kiss since Ace left the band. Rest in peace, Ace. back in the New York groove. Dr. Islami, that is just
well said, Doc.
awesome,
I concur.
awesome statement, brother. Jersey Devil, Ace fans needed a place to talk, and Ace deserved the respect. Regardless of what you think, his place is as far as talent. His legacy is solid with the fans he influenced. Yes, Jersey Devil, I couldn't agree more. And thanks for being here. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, always good to see you.
Glad I was able to catch most of Dr. Insomnia. So am I. You know, I know your work hours interfere and stuff like that, but you know what? Me and Dr. Insomnia, we have a friendship nobody knows about. He comes into some of my chats 2 days early and leaves messages, and I'll see him there and start responding and stuff. It's a lot of fun. I really appreciate you, brother.
Brother, he does the same thing to me. He's if I put a card out, 2 days before, he's there within 10 minutes to an hour. Depending when if I put it out at like 1 a.m., like I said, I work my channel weird hours. I think that's what I did is I ran myself into the ground this week. If it's 1 a.m., then he's in by 3 a.m., it seems like, right. But often within minutes.
Well, speaking of running yourself into the ground, there's this cherry on my cheek for a reason. I fell face first onto the concrete, and I could still hear the sound of my head hitting the concrete. It sounds like a sledgehammer. Wow. And after reading what happened to Ace, it kind of plays on my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I hit hard. And anyway, it is what it is. But
and you said he fell at home. Now, I also read he fell in the studio. Maybe it was in a home studio. I don't know. But if that's true, and we talked about John Lodge passing away last weekend.
Yes.
He had just come off a tour and was expecting to go back in November. Ace Frehley had to cut the tour off due to this, but he was expecting to get better and go back and whatever. Yes. So to me, both of these guys, the cowboy in me just can't help but admire, and a tip of my hat to them going down with their boots on in the studio. That was the death blow.
Yeah, right.
Wow,
right.
In the studio.
That's wild.
What better, for a musician? The studio for Kiss, that's probably going to be their coffins. They'll all be buried in a studio.
In a Kiss, in a Kiss coffin. Hey, I just want to shout out to Winslow Red Cross, who's on the screen. And yes, everyone, please hit the like button, get the show distributed to a wider audience. And if you're not already a subscriber, whether you're watching now or will be watching later, we get much more views after the show's over. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. Any closing comments, Kate?
Yeah, Ace was a gift. He was a blessing to many. He inspired many. And I really hope that, I've been noticing there are a lot of younger generation bands coming out and about, like teenagers starting bands again. Garage bands are starting to become a thing now. I really hope that these garage bands, learn from Ace a little bit.
That would be the only hope for rock and roll from this point on, Kate.
To be perfectly honest, I think now's a really good time for everybody to pay attention to his music too, in my opinion. I always have. But I also think the message is loud and clear,
Yeah.
And don't forget, Ace had a way with the chicks.
Yeah, he was an ace.
Yes, that's how he got his nickname, Ace. I just want to say to my buddy, Sir James Bowie Sinatra Lenny White Lennon, appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you for your comment. And when we switched, when we did the rebranding from Royce in the House to the Four Horsemen, we limited the show to only 4 people being on the panel. That way, we're bigger. The pictures are bigger, and it's not as chaotic with people stepping on each other, talking. So it's actually worked out really, really well. And you heard Michael when Dan McNew came into the chat, who was actually still in the game. Michael was willing to leave the chat to make room for Dan, just to keep to that structure of 4. So anyway, James, I know you have a ton of Kiss albums, and I appreciate that. And I just want to thank you for being here, brother.
Oh, absolutely. He was showing some of his stuff on Caitlin's.
Yes, he was. Yeah, no, he's got a huge library. I think when he
show it right now, I'm like, not yet.
I think when wasn't that long ago when Sir James showed his Beatle albums, didn't that show go close to 4 hours?
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was a long stream for James. Yeah, I remember that one.
And he did an excellent job on it as well.
Yep.
So anyway, I had fun tonight. I enjoyed doing this. It's a very, very sad, heartbreaking occasion, but I enjoyed us all getting together. And basically, what we did here tonight was a tribute to the spaceman, Ace Frehley. It's our tribute to him. We just want to remember him. We wanted to get it out there. We wanted to express, his importance in our musical lives and just lives, period. And just to thank him. We wanted to thank him. Look at that. Dusty Spins is here. I saw Kiss with the original members and saw Ace 3 times live. Gene and Paul need to retire his makeup. No more Tommy wearing it. I thank you, Dusty. I totally respect that. And you're right. That's disrespectful now. Yeah. Come on. There's only one spaceman. That was with him that was with him since he was a kid. No. You can't just keep passing that forward.
Oh, come on.
Who makes the same jack-o'-lantern? Who makes the same jack-o'-lantern twice for Halloween? Right?
Definitely not me.
It's sad that Ace won't be at the Kennedy Center, right? Star Trek. Yeah. Hey, good to see you, Star Trekker. Thanks for showing up. Caitlin.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Kennedy Center does around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last from I heard, they're going to be hosting a tribute to Ace.
Good night,
of course. Yeah. I figured.
That's the last I heard.
That would be interesting to gander.
Thank you, Winslow.
The Ace was excited to.
Thank you, Rock and Robin.
He was so excited to be able to be there, but now he can't. So that's just.
Yeah. That's sad. Boy, talk about all of a sudden.
Tell me about it.
And that's how it happens so many times.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Okay, thank you. Have a great evening. Thank you, Rock and Robin Bird. Love you.
Rock and Robin.
So I just want to say good night to everybody. Thank you. Great show, panel. Thank you so much. And that's what's happening in Royce's world tonight. Thank you all so much, everyone. Good night.
Night, folks.